So last weekend, I finally got around to watching Forever on Netflix. Did I spend the entire time kicking my feet in glee, smiling like a loon, and oohing and awing at the sight of young black love on my TV? Yes, I did. But at the same time, whilst I found myself smiling at the earnestness of youth and thinking back to my own teenage years and the butterflies and swooning of a first love and a young girl trying to navigate her world, I also found my heart aching for the character of Keisha Clark. Because she stands as a testament to how society fails young black girls and how it's never just a singular action or aspect of their lives, but on a more collective level. That failure often extends from lovers, i.e., Christian, to the school, i.e., her classmates and teachers, to neighbors, i.e., Joanna Crawford with her big mouth, to her mother, briefly, very briefly, and even to the audience themselves. Because the amount of think pieces I have seen of people castigating Keisha for her choices, especially as these choices had her undecided and unsure and desperate to do everything she can to keep the situation hidden from her mother, and there's a lot of grace and care that wasn't afforded to Keisha Clark, and I would like to talk about it. Now, just in case you have no idea what I'm talking about, Forever is the latest teen show from Netflix, adapted from the popular novel Forever, written by Judy Blume, which explores young love and sexuality, marketed for teenagers to help them as they navigate these times in their lives. The uncertainty, the mistakes taken, the lessons learned, and the pleasure to be had and experienced through the eyes of high school track star with a checkered past, Keisha Clark, and the boy from our elementary school days who is now so hot and so sensitive and so blunt and so kind and is utterly amazing with his ADHD brain, his love for music, and his struggle to live up to familial expectations, Justin Edwards. Forever Show is good. Now, one of my besties absolutely loves Judy Blume. Anytime she talks about her, Daya's eyes light up in this way that had me wishing that I had been a Judy Blume fan as a child. Now, this isn't because I didn't like her, mind you. My ass was a bookworm. I've been a bookworm since I was like 7, and my dad gave me a collection of fairy tales that became my most prized possession. I love writers, all of them. No, the reason I didn't read Judy back then was because I didn't see her books in my local bookstore, and a part of me is really sad about that because teenage Noria, yes, she finally figured things out eventually, but this is the kind of book that I would have loved then, and Forever is the kind of show that I would have watched and rewatched over and over again as a teenager. Because there's something about the honesty and reality of the teenage experience and how it is depicted in the show that resonates with me. Which would come as no surprise to anyone, since the showrunner and producer and the one who adapted the book to TV is none other than the brilliant Brock Akil, the goddess who gave us Girlfriends and Being Mary Jane, and who was on the writing team for Moesha. I mean, come on. Who is surprised that Forever is a masterpiece? I'm not. I'm also not surprised that Forever showed us Keisha as this brilliant young woman who is flawed but also is determined to make her own way in the world, because these are the kind of women that Mara Brock Akil writes and brings to our screen. And with Keisha, we see Mara basically point out how society, in so many little ways, fails young black girls and refuses to protect their innocence or dignity. We see this first with our ex boyfriend, Christian. And although I too am pissed as hell at him, I have noticed that a lot of viewers seem to assign a blame to him that isn't his to bear, at least not bear alone. And it all pertains to the video recording of Keisha giving him head. Now, I would like to state at this point that teenagers do have sex. Teenagers are curious and horny and make stupid choices. The show shows that. We've all been there. I have been there. Not my proudest moments, but hey, it's all part of the learning experience, our learning experience. Right? So let's not judge anybody about that. But as I was saying, a lot of people seem to think that Christian secretly recorded Keisha and kept a video of their tryst a secret from her until things blew up. And every time I see those comments, I shake my head because that wasn't what happened. That wasn't how he failed her. Based off of the conversation Keisha later has on with her mother, She was the one who sent the video to Christian, i.e., she also had access to the video of them fooling around and sent it to her boyfriend. Christian is not the only one to blame for the existence of the video. And before anyone says anything, she was 16. We all made stupid choices and decisions at 16, especially when we thought we were in love. I don't hold that against her. In fact, she should have been protected in that moment because Kesha shared something personal and private with her boyfriend, someone she was experimenting sexually with. The person who failed her in that scenario is her damn boyfriend, Christian. Because he did not extend that care or love to see what she shared as private and personal. Especially considering how misogynistic and patriarchal our society is. Whereby if it's, an heterosexual relationship and such a thing got out, the woman is blamed and shamed and the man is protected and hailed as a stud. Christian, however, tells Kesha and by extension us, the audience, that his teammate was bragging about how white girls give better head than black girls. And to shut down that debate, he chose to send a video of Kesha at her most vulnerable when she's with him, trying to please him and give him pleasure, to his jackass teammate in a black girls give better head competition. That is what I think we should all flail Christian for. Not the video recording, which he didn't technically do alone, but the sharing of it to a stranger to fulfill some male ego pride with a jackass where he never considered Kesha's future or her privacy and thought it was all right for him to destroy it so he can look and feel like a man amongst his peers. He was her partner, and she shared something private and personal with him that he then proceeded to share with someone else who was not part of their relationship or arrangement, which then meant that the tape got into the wild. He failed her. And like Kesha tells him, no amount of apologies is going to fix it. All she can do is attempt to move forward with her life. A situation that is made even more difficult by the fact that her former classmates and schoolmates continue to perpetuate the violation by constantly sharing her video and talking about it. None of them have the same level of smoke for Christian, even though he is still in their school, because when a scandal of this magnitude breaks, like I said earlier, especially when it's of a sexual kind, it is the woman who often has to bear that burden if it's a straight relationship. Doubly so for Kesha, who is a black girl. I think it's very significant that the start of the show has Justin at the party and Darius is giving him the advice to stay away from white girls. Not like Justin was interested in the first place, but Darius makes sure to remind him that there would be consequences for him messing around with a white girl if things go south in their relationship. It is a subtle foreshadowing. Not about Justin, of course. Like I said, he is an absolute sweetheart, but more with regards Kesha. Because if the shoe had been on a white girl's foot, if the person whose video had gotten around was, say, Chloe instead, Chloe being Kesha's best friend, of course, but best believe that things would have happened very differently. Hell, I'm fairly sure that Christian would have been extra careful who he showed or didn't show that video to and who he shared or didn't share it with. He wasn't because it was Kesha. And he didn't think her or her privacy worth protecting. And her classmates and schoolmates didn't think to protect her either. Instead, they shared the video for their own pleasure and also for a bit of juicy gossip. Because Kesha wasn't someone to care for or look out for, she had no protections by virtue of her being one of 3 black girls in her class who had had to deal with their microaggressions in the past. And now had to be saddled with the humiliation ritual that was them sharing personal videos of her around and casually mentioning it to their mothers. Which brings me to yet another person who failed Kesha, Zach's loud-ass mother, Joanna fucking Crawford. See, it takes a lot of audacity and a lack of foresight, a casual disregard for the safety and interest of a young black girl to casually mention to another mother that your son told you about the girl's sex tape and that they are still sharing it and it was in fact the reason why the girl had to leave her school. All with the tone of someone who is also participating in a bit of juicy gossip that is masqueraded as full concern. However, as viewers and also Dawn, we are all able to clock Joanna Crawford for the vile piece of shit that she is. Because why would your teenage son feel comfortable enough to tell you that his friends and classmates are actively sharing a private tape of a girl you knew when she was a fucking kindergartner and you did absolutely nothing about it? Instead, you chose to share it with another mother. Like, what? Which, shout out to Dawn Edwards for real. I might have been frustrated with the way she kept trying to force things on Justin with regards to school she wanted him to go to, but she came through for that baby girl. She did what Joanna Crawford should have done from the very start, from the very first moment she heard of it. Instead of her ass just contributing to the absolute mess and shit show that was the entire affair. Of course, I know that it was Justin's words that basically had Dawn considering Kesha in the whole mess, and she admits it, but I was so relieved that she did come through for the girl and urged her to tell her mother because that was what was important. But also, that is what a mother should have done, not turned it into a fucking kiki session. Can you all tell that I wanted to enter my TV and punch Joanna Crawford in the throat? And then there's Kesha's mother, Shelley, which I will say right off the bat, I totally understood where she was coming from, and I could see why she was so upset. She's had plans for a baby girl, and to realize that Kesha made such a stupid mistake and was going through all of that and still didn't tell her. I could see why it was so upsetting for her. However, she centered herself in that scene. I'm sorry, but walking away from your daughter after she comes to tell you something that painful, after you tell her that she fucked up, and making your entire focus in that conversation about the fact that other families would think that your family like knew and didn't care, was something that had me shaking my head, because it was yet another way in which the people around Kesha failed her, and a mother wasn't exempted from that. But like I said in the intro of the video, it was only for a brief moment, and her mother did come around, which I absolutely loved. Of course, I wish that she had also thought to put her daughter in therapy as well, not just herself, especially after she found a therapist that she likes and that she could afford on Dawn's recommendation. Like, girl, your daughter has been hyperventilating for months. Get her to a therapist, for crying out loud. And finally, there's the fandom. I've seen so many comments about how Kesha was just being wishy-washy. Someone tried to imply that she was playing fast with the boys, and I just wondered if people watch the show with their eyes and ears closed. Kesha had to grow up pretty quickly due to her situation and the financial obligations that were weighing her mother down. That shit ages you, and the show helps us see this very clearly with Justin and Kesha, where one has parents who can adequately provide to ensure that their kids have all they need, and the other has to scrape by to provide for her daughter. I would go into more details in that in like later in another video that will be coming up this week. But both parents love their kids, don't get me wrong, but I really think the way the fandom misunderstands Kesha and her choices with regards to the whole thing with Christian and Justin speaks to our inability to understand that poverty and the stress it brings ages people up, including and especially children. I repeat, I'll be making a video talking more about this soon. But being unwilling to extend Kesha any grace, considering everything she was having to deal with as a 17-year-old junior who made a mistake at 16 and doesn't have the emotional maturity to handle it all because, hey, she is 17. It's just acting like the people within the show itself who failed that girl on the different levels that she can be failed. Teenagers aren't perfect. They make mistakes. But the way as a society we are so much stringent on black teenage girls means that they have even smaller room to make mistakes and fail. And to have Kesha Clark be judged not just in the show but also outside of it just really shows how art imitates life for me. And I don't know about you, but that shit just has me thinking a lot. But hey, that's just me and my thoughts. Would love to hear yours. Have you seen Forever yet? If yes, what did you think of it? If no, do you plan to eventually watch it? Have you read the books? I plan to eventually get a copy of the book as well because it would be nice for me to read the source material. Even if it was written in the mid-70s, and I'm sure it's outdated now, but If the core of the story is still pretty good, I'm sure I would enjoy it. I have read and do read quite a number of outdated books, so I personally know I won't mind. But whatever the case may be, do share your thoughts with me in the comments. Like this video if you haven't done so yet. Share it if you want. Support me on Patreon if you can. And until tomorrow's video, do remember, obsessing over the things you love, perfectly valid coping mechanism.